I spent 45 years washing his shirts, cooking his meals, and helping him build an empire. I thought we were going to grow old together on our front porch. But that Tuesday night, when I found that envelope hidden in Claude's toolbox, my world didn't just crack, it shattered. He thought he could trade me in for a younger model and leave me homeless at 68. But there was one thing he forgot. The house, the land, and the money never belonged to him. My signature on that paper wasn't a surrender. It was my revenge. My name is Helen. I'm 68. I raised two kids, and I dedicated my entire life to being the perfect wife. You know that woman who skips buying her own medicine just to buy the steak her husband likes? That was me. We live in a beautiful house built with a lot of sacrifice. I always trusted Claude. After all, after 4 decades, who expects to be stabbed in the back? I looked at him and saw safety. Little did I know, I was sleeping next to a stranger. Things started changing subtly. He'd come home late, smelling of sweet perfume, but the worst part wasn't that. It was the contempt. One Sunday lunch, I accidentally knocked over a glass of juice. He looked at me, right in front of our children, and said, "You're useless, you know that, Helen. You're old, you're shaking, you're just a burden and an embarrassment." That hurt more than a slap. My kids stayed silent. I swallowed my tears along with the cold food. He made me feel like dead weight in my own home. What he conveniently forgot during that humiliation was that it was my father's inheritance that paid for the walls of this house. When we got married, Claude had nothing. I took in sewing jobs to pay for his law degree. Sleepless nights, pricked fingers, saving every penny. I sacrificed my youth so he could become Dr. Claude. And now? Now that he had money and status, the old seamstress didn't fit his image anymore. The situation became unbearable. He started talking about selling the house to invest. He said I should move into a nursing home, that I'd get better care there. Imagine that, hearing the man you loved say he wants to put you away just to be free. I found out later that this investment had a name, a pretty face, and was half my age. She was already picking out new furniture for my living room. My blood pressure spiked. I ended up in the hospital, and he didn't even visit. It was on the taxi ride back from the hospital, alone, that I decided I wasn't going to die of a broken heart. I went into his home office when he was out. I tore the place apart, and I found it. The deed to the house and divorce papers he had already drawn up, just waiting for me to sign, without reading, like I always did out of trust. He wanted to leave me with pennies and take everything. In that moment, the sweet Helen died. I wiped my tears, called my late father's lawyer, and scheduled a dinner. On his birthday, I made dinner. The whole family was there. He stood up, arrogant as ever, to make a toast and announce changes. He was about to ask for the divorce to find his happiness. That's when I stood up. I pulled an envelope from my purse. Not the papers he prepared, but old documents. I said, "Claude, you can have your divorce, but you forgot one detail. My father made us sign a prenup with total separation of assets. And this house, this land, the company we started with my dad's money, it is all, absolutely all, in my name." His smile vanished. His mistress, who I found out was waiting outside in the car, yes, he had the nerve, drove off the second she realized he was coming out of this marriage broke. My children, who stayed quiet during the humiliation, finally saw who their father really was. I gave him 24 hours to leave my property. He left with one suitcase, crying, begging for forgiveness, saying it was a mistake. But me? I locked the door. Today, the house is quiet, but it's a peaceful silence, not a lonely one. I learned that self-love is the only romance that truly lasts a lifetime. Don't be afraid of being alone. Be afraid of being undervalued. I took back my dignity. And that is something no amount of Claude's money could buy. If you believe cheaters deserve what they get and that justice always arrives, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel because here we don't accept disrespect. See you in the next story.